Hey everybody, Patrick here with Purposeful Armament, and today we're going to be doing a deep dive on our brand new product, the UV-K5 custom programmed radio bundle. We've always tried to push self-reliance and being prepared for whatever life has to throw at you, and radios are an amazing way to do just that. So we're going to go over this entire bundle that I have laid out in front of me, as well as some of the ins and outs and why it's important to get a radio like this. For starters, these radios can be incredibly versatile, but they do have limitations. So I recommend you going and checking out our most recent video where we actually demonstrated the practical capabilities of these radios. So let's get into what we have in our kit and talk a little bit about why. The first thing that we have in our kit is the Quansheng UV-K5 radio. The UV-K5 is what we have the most experience with. It's what we've been using the most. And quite frankly, it is probably one of the better entry-level radios, which is why we are choosing to carry it. So these are 100% genuine. Yes, they are from China, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the radio is bad. And in fact, there's a lot of functionality in these bad boys. So let's go ahead and open the box. Inside, you're going to get your two-way radio user manual. You're going to get your radio itself. You're going to get a battery. You get a small lanyard, your factory antenna, belt clip, and a charging port. Now, a cool thing about the Quansheng UV-K5, and part of the reason why we like it a lot, is because it does support charging through USB-C. It makes it a lot easier for you to charge your radio without having to lug around this big brick, and it can make it a lot more versatile for, charging inside of your car or your truck or what have you. It's just a lot better way of charging. Now, let's talk about the antenna. The antenna is probably one of the most important factors to your radio that allows you to transmit and receive, and this will be a key determining factor on how far you are able to transmit and receive and how clear that transmission or receive is. That is why we are including two different upgraded antennas. Both of these antennas are unique in their own right, but both of them have been extensively tested by the team here at Purposeful Armament to ensure that they actually work very well with this particular radio. Antennas can be finicky. You can't just go and buy an antenna off the shelf and slap it on a radio and expect it to work flawlessly. They oftentimes have to be tuned to not only the radio you're using, but also the frequencies you're going to be using. Now, like I said, we have a video where we actually put these two to the test, and the results are actually pretty interesting. So I recommend going and checking out that video before you make a decision on what antenna you want. Now, of course, you can just remain with the factory antenna, but compared to even this $10 upgrade antenna, you're going to get significantly better performance. Now, the TD771 antenna is quite a bit longer than the Nagoya. It can get in the way, especially if you're using this on, a plate carrier or a chest rig or some sort of body armor. But this antenna does have pretty good performance. Now, there is a very scientific way of testing radio antennas, but unfortunately, that equipment is very highly specialized and very expensive. So we just went out into the field and actually tested it. And with a clear line of sight to the person you're transmitting to, you can get well over 3.5 miles with this antenna. Now for the Nagoya. This is what is known as a ducky antenna. Very small, very compact antenna, but it still has very good performance. Now, assuming you have direct line of sight, you can still get over 3 miles of distance out of this small antenna. It's just a little bit less clear. It is also rubberized, so it can bend, which is pretty cool. Meaning this would be great for plate carriers, body armor, chest rigs, any sort of tactical kit or gear that you're going to want to be using this radio on. This is probably the most ideal option. Still gives you good distance, although not as good whenever there's terrain features in the way as the TID radio, but you're going to get a nice compact package. And no radio setup would be complete without our radio button guard. This one is specially made for the UV-K5 and attaches through your lanyard slot. So you won't be able to use the lanyard, unfortunately, but you will be able to protect all of the controls on your radio. Now, I also include this. This is a Baofeng programming cable. So in addition to all of the stuff that you see in front of you, you are also going to get this programming cable and a quick start guide on how you can program the radio yourself. Again, at Purposeful Armament, we're about self-reliance, and this is just a means to get you interested in radios and help cut out some of that busy work that you might otherwise have to do. Now, this is just a beginner starting kit. We expect you to go far beyond this and the capabilities of this radio as you progress through your radio journey. But these tools are just kind of the bare minimum entry level items that you're going to need. So we do also include a quick master guide, which is going to show you some of the important settings that you need to know about your Quansheng, as well as how to program it, and some other important information about the frequencies that are preloaded onto this radio. We do preload a lot of frequencies onto the radio itself so that you don't have to worry about messing around with programming and you can get straight to the learning. So what all is entailed on the pre-programmed aspect of this radio? You get a full suite of sort of general frequencies that you might want to use. So you're going to get your GMRS frequencies, your FRS frequencies, you're going to get your MERS frequencies. You're going to get other federal emergency frequencies, things like that. We also look at your shipping address, and if there are any specific frequencies to your location, you will also get those as well. That's going to include like dispatch frequencies for first responders and that kind of thing. Read up on the laws before you go out transmitting willy-nilly. On top of that, we also adjust a lot of the settings. There's all sorts of different settings that goes into the radio behind the scenes that need to be altered. So we do all of that for you as well. And we take care of some of the simpler things like turning off that backlighting, turning off the sound. Whenever you turn the radio on, it does this like chirp sound. But we have them set up how we personally use them. So anyways, if this is something you are interested in, I highly recommend checking it out. It's available over at purposefularmament.com. You can buy just the pre-programmed radio bundle, which will come with all of this, as well as your quick start guide, pre-programmed radio, and factory antenna for $60. If you want to add in the TID radio antenna, that is an additional $10. And if you want to add in the Nagoya NA810 antenna, that's an additional $20. So we have it set up like that so that you can kind of pick and choose what you really want to do. Like I said, check out that video where we actually demonstrate these different antennas because that's a very interesting video. This is very much the actual setups that we use. So check it out now, purposefularmament.com. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, stay armed.